Good evening, Zimbabwe. This is Change Radio News. Today is Thursday, the 5th of June, 2025. The news read by Josephine Muchabayuam. Here are the news headlines. Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission condemned the detention of 66 irregular migrants. Zimbabwe takes the International Labour Conference presidency amid domestic labour rights disputes in the country. Thousands of teachers retire, raising concerns over the deterioration of the education sector. And now for the news in detail. The Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission, ZHRC, has strongly condemned the detention of 66 irregular migrants of various nationalities, stating that their continued imprisonment violates their fundamental rights. The migrants held at Harare Remand Prison are neither facing criminal charges nor awaiting trial. According to the ZHRC, those detained hail from countries including Burundi, Ethiopia, Malawi, South Africa, Libya, Mozambique, China, Pakistan, Taiwan, India, the United Kingdom, France, and Cape Verde. In a press statement issued yesterday following its recent human rights monitoring visit to Harare Remand Prison, the Commission urged authorities to immediately end the practice of detaining migrants indefinitely. Zimbabwe has assumed the prestigious presidency of the 113th International Labour Conference (ILC) in Geneva, positioning itself as a key advocate for global labour standards and social justice. However, this international spotlight comes as the nation grapples with a significant domestic crisis. Civil servants, including university lecturers, are continuing an indefinite strike, protesting poor wages and unfulfilled contractual obligations. This disparity highlights a challenge for Zimbabwe as it leads discussions on global labour affairs while facing internal labour rights issues. The government says over 5,000 teachers left the profession in 2023, with 8,500 new ones hired to fill the gaps. However, last month, the Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, PTUZ, claimed that true number is much higher, estimating around 15,000 teachers quit annually due to frustration over poor working conditions. Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education spokesperson Taungana Ndoro has dismissed the union's figures, stating they have been exaggerated. In economic news, ZESA's power distribution arm, the Zimbabwe Electricity Transmission Distribution Company ZETDC, has begun rolling out prepaid electricity meters on public streets and at tower lights. In a statement, ZETDC announced this move as part of efforts to improve service delivery, reduce power losses, and ensure local councils are paying for the electricity they use. The rollout is currently active in Bulawayo and Chitungwiza and is expected to expand to other cities in the coming months. Each newly installed meter was preloaded with 50 units for single-phase systems and 200 units for three-phase systems, providing councils with an initial buffer to register and top up their tokens. The narrative by ZBC News Online, claiming that Trababla's interchange has brought seamless traffic flow in Harare, is being widely dismissed as cheap propaganda. Reliable sources in the southern industrial areas of Harare, near the much-touted roundabout, have called the narrative absolute lies, reporting that this week has been a gridlock nightmare. The source added that traffic was even worse yesterday, calling the official reporting appalling. A warrant of arrest has been issued against former ZANU-PF youth leader Louis Matutu after he failed to appear in court for his fraud trial. Matutu is accused of a $150,000 fraud, allegedly stealing company shares from a firm called Shisib Investments. Matutu is jointly charged with Blessing Kusungaya, Tafadzwa Kusungaya, Muzimba Muhamba, and Chisakwa Muhamba. The state alleges the 5 prepared annual returns dated April 30, 2018, and forged signatures to illegally change the shareholding structure, making themselves majority shareholders in the company. In news from local communities, an illegal gold planner has been arrested after digging directly beneath an active railway line in Vuma, causing significant structural damage to the track. The National Railways of Zimbabwe NRZ confirmed the arrest, stating the suspect was apprehended by its loss control personnel last Sunday. The damage was discovered during routine inspections, with images showing a large trench excavated directly under the railway line, posing a serious threat to rail operations and public safety. The NRZ has warned the public not to mine within the railway reserve, an area extending 45 meters on either side of railway lines, emphasizing that such activities are illegal. In entertainment news, the gospel music community is mourning the loss of gospel musician and pastor Barak, whose real name was Sipetangani Sibanda. The Bulawayo-based artist, widely known for his powerful worship songs and community outreach work, has passed away. Pastor Barak rose to prominence with hits such as Wavuma, Mayashada, and Kwina, which became staples on local gospel charts and Christian radio. Pastor Barak began his music journey in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, later incorporating instruments into his sound and releasing a string of successful albums, including Jerusalem, Yimilo, Wavuma, and his most recent Bayete. His songs enjoyed significant airplay on Sky's Metro FM, regularly appearing on the station's gospel chart show and earning a loyal following across the city. Mourners are currently gathered at number 31 Percy Avenue, Hillsides. In international news, in a remarkable medical feat, Professor Zhang Zhu remotely performed robotic prostate surgery on a patient in Beijing while operating from Rome, over 8,000 kilometers away. Using a high-speed 5G connection and advanced surgical robotics, the procedure maintained just 135 milliseconds of latency, ensuring real-time precision. Conducted during a medical conference, this surgery marks the world's first successful transcontinental telesurgery. A local team in Beijing stood by for support, but the operation proceeded flawlessly. This milestone demonstrates the future potential of remote surgeries in extending expert care to underserved regions and critical situations where physical presence isn't possible. Senegal continues to mark significant milestones in its decolonization efforts, On May 15, France officially withdrew military personnel from the Conte Amiral Protect base, strategically located in the port of Dhaka. This follows the handover of 2 other military sites earlier in March, with the remaining bases set to be returned by September 2025, according to the French embassy. Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, elected in March 2024 on a Pan-Africanist agenda, has openly called for the closure of military bases. A joint France-Senegal commission is overseeing this transition, a move that echoes a wider regional shift led by the Alliance for Sahel states Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger, who have ousted France-aligned leaders and expelled French troops. Packed crowds in India celebrating their cricket team's victory ended in tragedy yesterday, with 11 mainly young fans crushed to death in a deadly stampede. The joyous cricket fans had come out to welcome home their heroes, Royal Challengers Bengaluru, after they beat Punjabi Kings in a thrilling Indian Premier League final on Tuesday night. But the euphoria of the vast crowds in the southern tech city of Bengaluru tragically ended in disaster, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi calling the incident absolutely heartbreaking. Karnataka State Chief Minister Siddhamurra confirmed 11 fatalities and 47 injuries. And finally, in sports news, Portugal has beaten Germany for the first time in 25 years to qualify for the UEFA Nations League final. 40-year-old superstar Cristiano Ronaldo scored the winner with his 137th goal for Portugal in 220 matches, securing a 2-1 victory for Portugal. The Premier Soccer League (PSL) has charged Chicken Inn Football Club for causing the abandonment of the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League Matchday 13 fixtures against Scotland FC. The game, played on May 23rd, was abandoned in the 89th minute after a controversial penalty incident sparked chaos at Rufaro Stadium. Referee Kwesdani Dirwai awarded a late penalty to Scotland FC, ruling that Chicken Inn's Dominic Jarichai handled the ball inside the penalty area. This decision triggered a confrontation from Chicken Inn players, causing a lengthy stoppage. When Chicken Inn finally agreed to allow the penalty to be taken, it was getting dark and their goalkeeper, Bernard Donovan, complained about poor lighting conditions, forcing the game to be abandoned before the penalty could be taken. The PSL has now summoned Chicken Inn to appear before the disciplinary committee. To end the news bulletin, here are the headlines once again. Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission condemned the detention of 66 irregular migrants. Zimbabwe takes the International Labour Conference presidency amid domestic labour rights disputes in the country. Thousands of teachers retire, raising concerns over the deterioration of the education sector. And that concludes our bulletin for today. We thank you for listening. From myself, Josephine Mushabaiwa, and the entire team at Change Radio. Have a good night.